I became
this sober vet.
Don't live, don't live, don't live.
Our mission is to normalize sobriety with veterans who are using and abusing substances in a harmful, self-medicating way. Welcome, world, to this Sober Vet podcast. I am Army veteran Joe Urick, and if no one told you yet today, sobriety looks good on you. I want to start today with a quick PSA to make you think. Somewhere along the way, we normalized veterans drinking to cope with war, trauma, stress, and loss. Maybe it's time we normalize healing instead. Sobriety isn't weakness, it's the courage to face life without hiding from it. So sleep on that, think about it, do what you want with it. We're going to jump right into today's episode. I'm super pumped about this guest. This Marine's bio is out freaking standing. I'm going to start with the bio and then we'll get her on here. So today we have Captain Stephanie Simon, USMC, is currently a professional boxer with a record of 6-0, a boxing instructor, and a Marine Corps reservist. She is the 2024 Olympic Trials boxing champion, 4-time elite national boxing champion, 3-time national collegiate boxing champion, and United States Marine Corps Boxing Hall of Famer. Stephanie is originally from Atlanta, Georgia, but grew up in Vancouver, Washington. She currently lives in Los Angeles, California. After graduating Evergreen High School in 2012 as an All-American wrestler, All-State discus thrower, and honor roll student, Stephanie was accepted to the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. There is where she learned how to box and eventually became a 3-time collegiate national champion. She was also the team captain of the track team and a member of the Glee Club. In 2017, Stephanie commissioned as a U.S. Marine Corps officer and became an amphibious assault officer where she led 50 people and commanded 20 amphibious assault vehicles. She was honored to be a part of the first wave of women to serve in combat arms in the USMC history. Towards the end of her time in the USMC, Stephanie was selected to be the captain of the USMC boxing team, and there she became a 2-time national champion and a USMC Boxing Hall of Famer. After her time with the U.S. Marine boxing team, Stephanie moved to Miami, Florida in 2022 and switched over to the reserves. While in Miami, she won the 2022 USA Nationals and the 2023 National Golden Glove Championships. In December 2023, she won the 2024 Olympic Trials at 146 pounds. In April 2024, she moved to Los Angeles, California to pursue her professional boxing career and is simultaneously serving as a recruiting support officer with Recruiting Station Los Angeles, USMC. Additionally, Stephanie plays 5 instruments, sings, and dances in her free time. So in other words, do not mess with Stephanie. Welcome, Captain Stephanie Simon. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for the intro. It's sometimes I'm like, oh, man, I have done some good stuff. I've done some good stuff in there, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, that is a very impressive bio. I don't know how you found time to do anything else. Like you were just jam-packed doing all this good stuff. And yeah, so let's kind of start back at the beginning. So what made you choose the Marines?
So my dad was a Marine officer back in the day. He did 23 years. He did some 10 years active, about 13, 14 years reserves. And I mean, he told me all about the Naval Academy and the military. And at a pretty young age, I was kind of aware of the idea of being in the military. And then I think around sophomore, junior year, high school, that's when I started really considering it. And then I think the biggest thing was I realized quickly that opportunities in wrestling, which was my favorite sport in high school, were pretty limited for women. So, I kind of talked to my family about it. I'm like, I don't think that's going to be a sustainable thing to go try to wrestle in one of the 4 colleges that have women's wrestling. And then what, So my dad was like, you need to apply to the Naval Academy. It's a life-changing opportunity and experience that will set you up for the rest of your life. You could definitely get in, da 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 da. So I was like, all right, fine. And I applied and I got in and that's kind of that's like the start of my military journey was kind of inspired by my father. So,
That is outstanding. Now, did you join right out of high school?
well, it's the Naval Academy is a college, so you 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 either go to what's called the prep school first, or you go directly in. That's usually the two ways that people go. And I went to the prep school, so I went to they call it NAPS, the Naval Academy Preparatory School in Newport, Rhode Island,
Mm,
and it's basically a year of just like helping future midshipmen with primarily with academics. I had good grades, but I wasn't at the level where I was gonna pass Naval Academy classes. So that year of prep was very helpful for me, and it kind of like got me a little bit up to speed on chemistry, calculus, and physics because at the Naval Academy you're taking really, really, really hard classes,
mm.
and just to graduate, the core classes are like electrical engineering, thermodynamics,
Wow.
chemistry, calculus, physics. Those are just the core classes. So yeah, I went there for a year, and then Naval Academy was 4 year college.
Okay.
So
Very cool. Awesome. And what was your biggest takeaway from that you could share with everyone?
I would say the biggest takeaway from going to the Naval Academy is that it's a great place to be from, but not the best place to be at. And sometimes in life, we have to just embrace that there's going to be certain periods where we're really, really, really struggling just to make it through the day. But like those, it might be a year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, 4 years, whatever that is. Those really, really challenging times and periods of our life are what like set us up for our future. And we all will look back at whatever that is and go, wow, I'm glad I did that. And now I'm a lot stronger of a person than I was before that. And now I can see what I'm capable of doing. So I think, yeah, the Naval Academy was just a big eye opener for me. And it showed me like I can do anything. I just have to like believe in myself, and I have to be willing to fall flat on my face and get up, you know?
That is such a great point. I love how you put that because I'm a small business owner, and for some reason, the past 2 weeks have been super trying for me because, like, literally Murphy's Law, anything that could go wrong has gone wrong in the last 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
one of my employees is like, dude, like, how are you maintaining, like, you're kind of cool through all this? And I was like, listen, calm seas don't make a good captain. So this is all part of my leadership. This is part of my character
Yeah.
building. And I'm just honored to be in this position where I can either flop and fail or push forward and just do me and keep it moving, And that's,
100%.
yeah, I welcome that. So when you finally got to, in the Army, we call them duty stations.
Yeah.
What was that like? Did you deploy at all or?
So my first duty station, so after I graduated the Naval Academy, at the Naval Academy, you either commission as a naval officer or Marine officer. And I chose the Marine officer route. And like I mentioned in my bio, I went and I became an amphibious assault officer. It's basically like they're amphibious tanks. So imagine a tank that can like float in the water.
Nice. That's cool.
It's more for troop transfer. Like we do have machine guns and all that on our vehicle, but the priority is like to transfer infantrymen from the ship to the shore or from the shore to the ship. Um, Amphibious landings, like you see in those old World War II movies. That's kind of what my job was to command those vehicles and to take charge and lead 50 to 60 Marines. And my first duty station was in my first and last and only duty station was Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I was there for 5 years, and I did one very short deployment. We went to Iceland. We were supposed to go to Norway, but there was an incident with our ship, and we had to pull into Iceland for a couple weeks. So I didn't get a full 6 month, year long deployment, but I did go overseas for about 2, 3 months, and
And you were one of the first wave of women to serve in
in
the
combat
combat
arms.
arms. That is outstanding. Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Marine Corps of all the branches is like was the last to integrate women in combat roles. So it was hard. It was very, very difficult to gain respect and to also just like feel like I was a part of the team and to feel welcome. And I will say though, again, it taught me a lot about how to overcome adversity and also like how to be okay with not being liked. And I'm at the point now where like I can actually finally post stuff now on my social media and I can be myself and I don't care what people think. And I think after spending so many years being ridiculed or being judged, whether you do something great, bad, good, wrong, left, right, up and down, like seeing and realizing that everyone's going to have an opinion has like helped me just, I guess, accept who I am and not care so much anymore about people's opinions. So again, when you have all those Marines, all those guys, and your 23-year-old woman having to take charge and lead them, everybody and their mother is going to have an opinion, and everyone's going to have a problem. Everyone's going to have a problem about something. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can't please 60 people
Right.
and make everyone happy. Your leadership style is not going to fit for every single person, and that's okay. So, yeah, I learned a lot. There were some good times. I think the best part in my personal experience in active duty was being on the Marine boxing team. That was a lot more, even though I was getting punched in the face every day, in a weird way, it was a lot more peaceful, you know, and I felt a lot more like comfortable um, being myself. So, um, yeah.
So how many females are on that Marine boxing team?
Um, the team is no longer in existence. Unfortunately, the Marine Corps cut the Marine boxing team, but at the time, there was about three of us
Wow.
out of 18. So there wasn't many,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing new to me.
Right.
Three is more than one, which I was one of one officer wise in amphibious, excuse me, in the amphibious assault community. So, but I was a team captain too. So like I took a lot of the things I learned from active duty and the amphibious assault community. I learned a lot of, I took a lot of the lessons and I tried to apply it
Mm-hmm.
to being a team captain of the not the track team in college, but of the boxing team for the Marines for
That's
sure.
that's outstanding. Now, I did see you did a bunch of other things, discus, track. So, of all wrestling, boxing was definitely your favorite of any athletic you did prior.
Yes,
Okay, gotcha.
yes. I grew up playing every sport. My main sports growing up, though, at the before college, were is track and field, wrestling. I did taekwondo for many years. And then I was a band kid too. I was in marching band, jazz band, regular concert band. I marched in the inaugural parade in 2009. I was like total band geek. And then in college, I was in Glee Club and all that stuff. But my favorite of everything and why I'm a professional fighter now is because boxing definitely number one favorite of all of them. So.
Attention veteran entrepreneurs, we've got a special announcement just for you. Marathon Business Advisory Services is proud to present a unique opportunity, a J-Dog franchise, veteran owned and ready for its next chapter. Whether you're looking to own your first business or grow through acquisition, this could be the perfect fit. And the best part, it's completely confidential, with no cost and no obligation to explore the opportunity. Just reach out to Jay Calandra at j.calandra@marathonbas.com to learn more. Support veteran success. Build your future. Let Marathon guide the way. That is so cool. So I was watching like some of your highlight reels, and then I was watching one of your first fights. I think it was your premiere, and I always am curious. While you're in it, are you just so zoned in that you're just doing you, or do you actually hear what your trainer's yelling? Do you hear the when there's 30 seconds left or whatever? Do you
Yeah,
hear that, or are you just like in the zone?
that's a great question. In a fight, it's kind of a mixture of things. So when you're like in the flow state, you hear everything, but you're not aware of time anymore. So in that fight, I was in flow state, but then I would come out of flow state sometimes and it'd be like, oh my God, I'm in a ring fighting somebody. This is freaking weird. And then I would snap back into flow state.
Hmm.
But when you're like in that flow state, you can still hear and react to your coach, but you're so honed in and focused that like again, you're not aware of time and you're just present.
Hmm.
But in fights, you actually want to be in flow state, but you're not going to be able to stay in it from start to finish. It's just impossible. You will have moments where you go out, and when you go out, you're just like, "What the heck is? Where am I?" It's almost like you just woke up from a weird dream,
Hmm.
and then you have to get back into it. So, yeah, fighting and the mental part of it is it's so hard to digest and explain, and it's a trip. It's the weirdest thing, and you get done, you're like, "Oh my God, I just trained for 2 months for a 10-minute thing and
Hmm.
now it's over."
Right. Right.
And like what the heck, it's just, yeah,
Hmm.
it's a bizarre thing, truly.
Yeah, I'm a fan of boxing, and to me, what I really enjoy about boxing is it's so intimate because it's literally you versus one other person. So like you're not a part
Mhm.
of a team, you're not relying on others. Like it's literally you versus one other person. And one thing I enjoyed watching one of your videos was when you and the person you're sparring with both had your front foot in the tire. And you're just like going at it. I'm
Yeah,
like, damn, that's crazy. Do you do that often? That's a pretty cool exercise.
not as much anymore. That was every coach has their thing,
Mm,
and at that time my coach was really a big fan of the tire drill because it kind of forces you to stay in the pocket and
right.
work on the inside fighting. If you don't have a tire, you can move around and like use the ring and create space.
Hmm.
But sometimes you kind of need to, like, if someone is struggling, having the confidence to stay in the pocket, the tire drill is very good for that. So if you're newer to like learning how to fight on the inside and newer to fighting, throwing body shots and hooks, the tire is very good for like newer people. But the higher level, I don't, yeah, you don't see it much in like the higher pro
Gotcha.
level of boxing.
Okay.
So, but it's very fun.
So, how did you get into the Olympic trials? Like, did you just see that as your next level of progression, or what made you jump there?
So in USA boxing, so if you're like, let's say that you're an amateur fighter and you start off kind of fighting in like local shows, local competitions, local tournaments, as you start to gain more experience, once you reach about 10 fights, you're considered open class fighter. And if you're an open class fighter, you can then start fighting in like the bigger tournaments, the regional tournaments or the national tournaments. And so once I got to my 10th fight around then, 10, 15 fights in, that's when I started to look more into like, okay, what's the next step? How do I advance from here? And that's when I started going to the Eastern versus Western qualifiers for the national tournaments. My first one was in 2019. I went to the Eastern qualifiers. I did okay there, and then the following year, um, I started really focusing on my skills and getting better as an amateur. And that's when I started to gear up for the 2021 nationals. So again, it's a work in progress. You start off local shows, then you do the more regional scene, and then you can start going to these national tournaments. If you go to the national tournaments and you win, or you get top two, or you make it to the finals, then you're eligible to be on Team USA. And so that's what happened with me.
Wow.
I started winning national tournaments, and then I was on Team USA at the end of 2021. And I would continually go to the Olympic Training Center. And then towards the end of my amateur boxing career, which ended in December 2023 slash January 2024, that's when I won the Olympic trials. And a lot of people ask me, so did you go to the Olympics? And unfortunately, no, I didn't go to the Olympics. And myself, along with all the other Olympic trials champions, we unfortunately didn't go. And that's more of a political thing than anything because basically the team for the Olympics was kind of already picked before the Olympic trials.
Gotcha.
Very unfortunate. And so we ended up kind of being like the training partners. And it was a very, very bizarre situation, pretty unfair, in my opinion. But like, it is what it is. They got their way, whoever made the rules. And then from that point, I was like, I'm not going to continue to be um, kind of like a puppet in this game where I show up, I win nationals, I show up, I win the trials, and then I still get told you're the training partner. Congrats. So that's when I turned professional. So January 2024 was my last camp at the Olympic Training Center with Team USA, and then I got it together. I I got my plan down. I was like, yeah, I'm moving to LA. I'm getting out of Miami, and I'm gonna pursue my professional boxing career. And been here now for, I can't believe it, over 2 years. I can't believe it's already been that long, but
Nice.
yeah, over 2 years. And I've been training people, teaching boxing. I've been fighting as a professional. I've been in the reserves. I'm doing it all. I'm making music. I write songs. I can produce music. I do whatever I want to do. And I
Nice.
live a life where I don't look at myself as a limited person. And I hope who's ever watching realizes, man, if you want to go do something, go learn a new skill, go do something new and believe in yourself. Because if you spend time doing something and you enjoy doing it, you can do it, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
That's outstanding. So, just an outsider looking in, it seems like your progress has been challenge, challenge, challenge. You keep challenging yourself and progressing to now, like you said earlier, you're at a point where you really don't care what other people think because you've built up your confidence. You know who you are now. You know what your capabilities are. And it's like, F the haters, I'm going to do me. And that is such a freeing spot to be in because I'm also at that same spot. Finally, I hit 4 years sober in a week and a half, which is like phenomenal. Like I never thought I'd be there.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So if we could kind of back up and jump into your sobriety journey, like what was your drug of choice? How did you start that?
Yeah, so I want to lay the foundation. So I have a pretty obsessive, somewhat addictive personality. What I guess, like, for me, I wouldn't say that I was necessarily addicted to alcohol, but I will say that I had no real ability to drink alcohol without getting really drunk or blackout. There was, I didn't drink in high school. My first time sipping alcohol, I was 20 years old.
Okay.
And I remember I was drunk for 2 days.
Wow.
I don't even know how, but I felt out of it for literally 48 hours. I remember my friend and I were in Miami. We're trying to get a coconut out of a coconut tree for like an hour straight. And we're both just like, "Ah," I like put him on my shoulders. He's like trying to get this coconut. Then we go knock on like the neighbors, like whoever, well, not the neighbors, but the owner of the house where the freaking coconut tree was at. We knock on his door. We're like, "Can we get the coconut from the tree?" And the guy got one of those big coconut um, things you can put in the tree to help. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and we were just like, we were so out of it and so just not there, you know. And then I don't know. Every time I would like drink, something really weird would happen. Something crazy would happen. One time I got drunk with the same friend. We'll get into that as well. And we started in LA, like West Hollywood, having a good time. And then the last thing I remember is like we're on someone's lawn and we were somehow in Compton
Ooh.
and we're on a completely random person's front lawn. We're nowhere near the starting point of the journey of the night. You know how it is. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just everyone's laughing, having a good time, but like how did we end up there and how do we get back? And is this safe? Probably not, you know?
Right.
So um yeah, so my first drink was at 20, and then by the time I turned 21, that's when like the drinking kind of got more regular. And at the Naval Academy, everyone is stressed out. Everyone is like overworked, not rested, not well rested. And so every weekend we would all just go out and just absolutely lose control.
Mm-hmm.
And that was me, you know. When I when I turned 21 at the Naval Academy, I was just getting destroyed, blackout, and really drunk and embarrassing myself. And um, I think there was a just an accumulation of events that took place. But I think the big one that really messed me up, and you know, this one's hard to talk about, but I was sexually assaulted at the Naval Academy,
Mm.
and I was completely blackout. I was like in and out of consciousness, and I was taken advantage of by someone who was sober,
Oh,
like
wow. Jeez.
straight up sober. He was a grade below me, and at the Naval Academy, there's rules with like if you're not until junior year, you can't even go out on the weekends past a certain time. So he was a year younger, so he was like not even out. He wasn't going out and drinking and stuff. And so I know for a fact he was completely sober and I wasn't. And he knew it was my birthday, my 21st birthday weekend. And I was assaulted. It was, he raped me for sure, outside, literally outside with people walking around. And it was really dark. So we were like, no one saw us, no one said anything, but it was really fucked up. It was really fucked up. And um, after that happened, I think I almost like wanted to drink more just to like, I don't know, maybe numb the sadness and like the pain, you know? And so I continued to go out and I continued to have these really just like bad experiences. And I think the one that really did it for me, like the most embarrassing moment I had, one of the most embarrassing moments was I was fighting in a national tournament in Seattle. This is a collegiate national tournament though, so this is just for college. And one of the guys that was fighting in this tournament, he was from the Air Force Academy, and his brother was there. His brother was there to support, and I started talking to his brother. I met him; he's just a random civilian, and you know, we exchanged contact information. It was casual, and then after I won the national tournament, keep in mind this is in Seattle. I grew up in Vancouver, Washington, 2 hours from where I grew up. My family was there. My best friend was there. A lot of friends were there from my childhood, and all my teammates were there. And I started drinking that night. And we all went to a restaurant. The last thing I remember, like fully consciously remember from that night, was being at the restaurant. And that's when I started drinking. And then I just remember being in and out, and that guy, the brother of the Air Force Academy grad, I just kept seeing him. Like I know he was. I was with him. I was with him the entire night. But when I tell you I barely knew this person, I met that person the day before.
Mm-hmm.
So being that drunk and that intoxicated, you know, again, it takes all of your like frontal lobe ability and throws it out the window. So I'm like physically being uh I'm like kissing this person, we're going out, we're like in an Uber together, we're at clubs together, we're doing all this stuff. Mind you, I had no idea it's happening until the next day because I started asking people, what the heck happened, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, you don't remember? You were at that party, and the UW party, and you fell down a flight of stairs, and then you got up and you were like, I'm a national champion. You don't remember that? I said, no,
Hmm.
I don't remember that. And they said, you were with some guy, and you guys, you don't remember? You were walking in the elevator, and coach was like, who's this? You don't remember that? I said, no. Oh, you don't remember he tried to get into the room, like your hotel room, and like those two girls from the team, you know, they stopped him from coming into the room. I said, no, I don't remember
Wow.
anything. And him and I talked on the phone the next day, and he told me everything that happened. And thank God he was a decent human being,
Mm-hmm.
somewhat, because it could have ended so much worse than it did. And it's just so embarrassing when other people tell you all the things that you did, and other people tell you what you looked like, and you have no recollection or memory of it, and you're just like, you just feel powerless, you feel hopeless. I felt like an embarrassment and an idiot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't drink too many times after that. Honestly, like it kind of slowed down. And that was like April. Yeah, that was April 2016. 2016 April. By the time I got to November 2016, that's when I said, I'm done. I'm done drinking. And there was one more incident, and I don't want to get into that one. That was something happened to a friend while she was drunk. That was the final straw. I was like, yep, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done drinking. I can't do this anymore. I went through my own struggles. I was raped while drunk. I embarrassed myself when I was drunk. And then all my friends around me that were drinking had horrible things happen to them. My best friend at the time, he ended up in prison, and it had to do with alcohol stuff. And I watched, there was someone at the Naval Academy, more than one person died at the Naval Academy, and there was alcohol involved while I
Mm-hmm.
was there.
Oof.
And then my other best friend, something horrible happened to her. So I was just watching myself become someone that I didn't recognize while drinking. And I was watching the closest people around me also um, become and turn into like people that I didn't recognize because of alcohol. And that was the moment I was like, yeah, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Something is going to happen where I can't even come back from it.
Right.
And I
Right.
felt it. I felt it at my core that drinking alcohol, if I continue this route, something really, 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 really terrible is going to happen. I had to stop. So I stopped. So this year, November, will be 10 years
Hell yeah.
sober.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
10 years. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. And this is the first time really talking about this on a podcast. So thank you for giving me the platform.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you
But
for opening up because this is
yeah,
going to help other people because there could be a listener out there right now that's on the fence about giving up drinking or giving up something,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
could have your story and be like, wow, like that sounds exactly like me. And if she could do it, I could definitely do
right.
it. So, one thing I do want to congratulate you on is for being intelligent enough and having the intestinal fortitude to realize seeing the pattern and then stopping that pattern. Because
Yeah,
as you're telling your story, I kind of feel dumb because to me, I really enjoyed the next morning where me and my boys would go out to eat or go to the DFAC. And I'm like, bro, like, I remember up until leaving with this girl, or I remember up until Jimmy fell down, what happened after that? And then everyone piecing in the story. And in hindsight, like at the time, I thought that was like a bonding moment, a badge of honor, where we all kind of come in and we're like, no, no, that didn't happen. Cause then Moody went over here and Neff did that. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. And like, it was fun to piece that together. But in hindsight, it's like, holy crap, like we were all blackout drunk to the point where no one really knew what happened that night. You wake up next to someone strange, or like, did I use a condom? Did something happen last night? Like there's so many like what ifs. And thank God when I was in, we had no social media because holy crap, I couldn't even imagine the things that would be posted when I was out there getting wasted. So I'm very proud of you for recognizing the pattern, seeing that it's
yeah,
not benefiting you and taking action because that's where a lot of people don't have the intestinal fortitude or the dedication to actually do that. So kudos for you. Now, when you first quit, did you have any like withdrawal issues? Was it weird going out afterwards and you were like, they're all drinking around me? Like, what do I do? Like, any issues with that?
um, I didn't really have withdrawal issues, but I did feel a little bit weird going out. I felt a little weird because everybody was drinking, and when people would ask, "Why aren't you drinking?" I didn't want to be like, "Oh, it's because I don't want to keep experiencing bad things and I don't want to keep embarrassing myself, like
Mm-hmm.
um I didn't like having to explain myself over and over again. But I definitely felt like when I would go to the grocery store or, walk by alcohol, um, I was still, but it'd be like, definitely a temptation to just like, you know, would it be that bad? And so I kind of substituted for like NA, non-alcoholic
Oh, okay.
beers.
Gotcha.
So I still drink non-alcoholic beers all the time.
Nice.
And that helps me a lot because I do like the taste of beer. And the NAs, I mean, they don't do anything. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, that's kind of how I coped with it. But I always have a very eerie feeling walking or being around alcohol. Um, Not at like events, but again, it's like the store.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why when I walk by like the alcohol section, it's just like I hear cryptic music in my head.
I could
And it's
totally
just like,
relate.
God,
It's crazy to
ugh,
me how accessible alcohol is because
so accessible.
what I would do, and this is so bad, I would go to the liquor store, I would get a fifth of Southern Comfort, then I would run to a gas station in Pennsylvania, it's called Wawa, and I would get like a 24, yeah, I would get a 24-ounce soda, fill it up almost to the top. There was like a ridge. I would fill it up to that ridge, go out to the gas pump, pour my SoCo in, top off the cup, throw the empty SoCo bottle out so that way there was no evidence, and then I would drink and drive or drive on my way to destination, whatever. Well, after I quit, they had passed some law because before in Pennsylvania you couldn't sell beer or liquor in gas stations. Well, recently they passed a law. So like a year ago, I was at another gas station called Sheets, and when I was going to check out, I noticed in line, like as you're walking to the cashier, in line they had this stand of Southern Comfort, and I'm just like, that is crazy. Like I literally wouldn't even have to do two stops. I grabbed the Southern Comfort. There's a soda machine right there. Like, and of course you get the angel and the devil popping up. And my angel always bitch slaps the devil because I have no time for the devil. But yeah, it's just like, it is insane how number one, accessible alcohol is. Number two, how normalized it is. And then number three, like you brought up, that in the beginning I struggled with that too because I didn't want to explain to people I'm an alcoholic. I can't just have one. Bad things happen when I drink. Like
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
annoying that like literally somebody could like, hey Stephanie, I'm gonna go outside smoke some crack. You want some? Oh no, no, okay, you're good. They walk out, no question. But if you say you're not drinking, everyone wants to know why. Like, does
Why,
isn't
why,
that
why?
ridiculous? Yeah, dude, it's nuts. I don't get
I
it.
think it's like a how do I explain this? We're we're so accustomed to alcohol, I think for multiple reasons, yes, culturally, but also people make a lot of money off of addiction to alcohol.
Mm, right.
And I think that it's not just alcohol, it's addiction to food, addiction to sugar, addiction to all the things that are horrible for us. And like I think if people could benefit and profit more from crack, it would be sold
Right.
more frequently.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, it's like it's a multi-billion dollar industry. The alcohol
Oh,
industry is like
easily. Absolutely.
easily. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's horrible for you, but um, drink it because it's cool
Right.
and it's gonna loosen you up. Like,
Yeah.
don't you want to drink this with your friends and then when you really like think about it more, it's horrible for you. It's poison. It's literal poison.
Literally poison. Yeah.
It's poison. I don't care how anyone wants to look at it. It is freaking poison.
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna poison myself.
Right.
I'm not, I'm just not.
Yeah.
And if I am gonna poison myself, it'll be with a brownie or a cookie,
Amen.
something that's not gonna make me black out and unconscious and like doing horrible things.
Are you enjoying these stories of veterans totally rocking it with sobriety? Here at This Sober Vet podcast, we want to keep bringing these warriors' tales of triumphs to you. However, we need your help to make that happen. We're in need of sponsors for This Sober Vet podcast. That's right, now's the time to show your support, advertise your brand, or just make a monetary donation. It's easy. Just go to our website, www.thissobervet.com. To become a sponsor, fill out the form on our contact page. To donate, just click on support the mission. Let's keep shining a light for those still in the dark.
We all have vices, and I've struggled with food my whole life. I love to eat a little too much, and when I'm stressed, I eat. When I have anxiety, I eat. When I feel like I don't have control, I eat. Like that's like, everyone has their thing, and
Mm-hmm.
but I think if you're gonna have a vice, let it be something or have an outlet that's like not going to completely ruin your life and
Right.
destroy you.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to not have control all the time and to be a little out of control. It's okay. Like that's a part of being human. We're not always going to be able to like put our foot on the brakes. Sometimes we just, like last night, I'm not gonna lie, I probably had 3 extra slices of pizza than I should have.
Heyo.
But you know what? It's better that, it's better that that's the issue and not like, oh, I had 3 more shots, 3 more beers than I should have. And now I'm um, hungover. I don't remember what
Mm-hmm.
happened last night. So it's like, yeah, no addiction is good. No vice is technically good. But, it's just, you just got to be careful. Things with like gambling or drugs or alcohol, um, it can kill you,
Right.
truly,
Yeah.
or at least lead to that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my thought on that.
Yeah, I agree. And I also struggle. So ever since I quit drinking, I really enjoy candy. My go-tos are Mike and Ike's or Skittles have these gummies and they're freaking amazing. They're horrible for you. They're literally all sugar with food dye in them. But I'll get like a big pack that they put in a Ziploc bag for a reason because they want you to just eat a couple, zip it up, eat it later. I'll house that whole pack and then
Oh
I'll
yeah,
feel
yeah,
kind of bad. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm still sober. Like I'll deal with a little bit of belly fat, but I'm still sober.
yeah.
So yeah, it's all good.
100%. I'm 100% on board with that
Right.
statement right there. I'm right there with you.
Nice. So do you see your workout routine, your training for boxing, do you see all that as a coping mechanism to kind of get the thought of drinking out of your head because you are so health conscious and kind of every move you make has to invest in your body because your body is what takes you to your love of boxing and all that, like how does that coincide?
I had to be honest. I'm at the point since it's been 10 years, I really don't have that like urge to drink.
Good.
I don't have that anymore. Um, but when I do, or I'm like, man, a beer would be nice, that's when I drink an NA beer. And I think when you're a professional athlete or you're working out, I will say that when you drink, it destroys all progress, and it also just like takes you back 3 days. And I remember when I would drink at the Naval Academy, I would try to train on like the following Monday, do my workouts, my practice, and I would just feel horrible,
Hmm.
and it would just feel like I would get 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. So when you are training as a professional athlete or training other people, you want to feel energized, you want to feel good, you want to feel um, rejuvenated and rested. Uh, after a weekend, you want to go into the week like feeling ready to perform.
Hmm.
And if you're drinking all the time, you just don't ever recover. It messes with your sleep, messes with your recovery. It destroys your diet. There's like a million different things that it's bad for, but like it just really does not make anything easier. It makes everything more difficult as
Right.
an athlete, as a trainer, as someone that is in this kind of like physical, intensity mode on
Mm,
and off all day, you know? It's like this every day, you know. 1 second I'm sparring, take a little break, next hour I'm running, then I'm lifting weights and I'm holding pads for people and just alcohol just doesn't fit into that schedule. It doesn't fit into the lifestyle that I have. And so yeah, I don't really have the same. I think a little bit earlier in life, maybe like probably the first 2 3 years, I had more of those urges to drink.
hmm
But now it's been so long. It's been a decade since I've had alcohol. Um, it's more so like I don't even really want to do that because it's just gonna ruin all the progress.
So I'm so happy you said that, and I want all of our listeners to really think on that. She's at a point where she really isn't even thinking about drinking anymore because it's been so long. I'm at 4 years. I'm at a point where I rarely think about drinking because it's been so long, because I'm really reaping the benefits of sobriety. So, for anyone who's getting ready to start this journey, there is hope. There is a time where you won't even think about this anymore. You'll be so focused on whatever the universe or whatever God has intended for you to do in this life. And you'll be so on fire for what that is because you finally know who you are. You're sober, you're present, that you won't even be thinking about whatever you were addicted to. So hold on to that nugget because there is hope. Stephanie, one thing I always like to ask our guest is if there is someone who's currently on the fence, they're listening to this podcast, and they just kind of need that push to really give sobriety an actual shot, what piece of advice would you give them to kind of push them to go for it?
Yeah, my piece of advice for anybody that's thinking about sobriety, I want you to think about what the best version of you looks like. And is that person drinking?
Mm,
Like when you picture yourself and all the great things you want to do and you as the best version of yourself, do you see yourself with a bottle? Do you see yourself drinking? Do you see yourself? Because for me, that was not the case. When I see the best version of myself, I see myself creating art. I see myself winning championships, winning belts. I see myself being the best competitive professional boxer, being a world champion. I just don't see alcohol in the picture. And I don't see it as something that's going to contribute to me being the best version of myself. So if alcohol is not a contributor to your success and not a contributor into you becoming the best you, then why are you still drinking? Right? That's
amen.
my question.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for me, the decision was not very difficult. And and I see why it is for people. It's hard to let go. And it's not if it's an actual addiction, it's not just like, oh, let me stop. Like, no, you might have to go to rehab. You might have to do a lot of things. There's gonna have to be a lot of lifestyle changes. Take the small steps. And the first, obviously the first step is admitting you have an issue, you have a problem, you have an addiction. But it's not about the big steps you got to take. It's about the little adjustments day by day, taking it step by step, every day, little by little. And then it's very weird, but you'll start to like feel like you again. Because, man, people that I know, including myself, when you're drinking heavily or you're getting drunk, that's not you. That's not you.
Right.
Um, and when you start to like ask yourself, like, who am I and who do I want to be? I can promise you that being drunk and being incoherent, that's not who you want to be.
Amen. Amen. Well said.
That's not who you want to be.
One fear I always had while drinking was I would hear about people who woke up the next day in prison and they're like, what am I doing here? And an officer coming in and saying, you were driving drunk last night, you ran into a car, you killed two people. Like, could you imagine waking up not knowing what happened, but now you're spending the rest of your life behind bars. That is crazy to me. And thank God I never did that because I drunk and drove all the time. It was horrible.
I'm very happy it didn't happen to you. I'm very happy it didn't happen to me, but I have had so many friends in the military who were not so fortunate
Right.
as me.
Mm-hmm.
I know people and I have friends that have hit people while drunk driving that were in the military.
Mm.
I know people and I have friends that had to go to rehab. I know people and I have friends that served time in prison for assaulting people or for getting in whatever situations. And hey, if that's not enough, what makes anyone watching this or anyone in general think that that couldn't be them?
Right.
Like you and I, and when none of us have some magical wand that's like, oh, none of those things will happen to me if I drink. Everyone thinks that until it happens to them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And for me, that was the reason why I stopped. Because 10 years ago, I was like, oh my God, I'm next. I'm next. I'm the freaking one that's going to be waking up in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be the one that's waking up next to a stranger. I'm going to be the one who is going to be involved in an investigation of some sort where law enforcement will be involved. Like, that's me. I'm next.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't stop right now, if I don't stop this drinking, my whole life will be ruined. This is going to ruin my life. This is going to destroy the 20 years of hard work and the 20 years of sacrifice and dedication to becoming a freaking military officer, to becoming me and becoming an inspiration to the world. That's all I want. I want to be an inspiration. I want to change lives and inspire people and become, again, the best version of myself. That's going to all go out the window if I continue drinking. I'm next. I don't have the magical wand. It's like, oh, none of these things will happen to me because I'm Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really it.
Nice. I love how you put that too. Yeah. Because, yeah, you never know who's next. Like, even when I was I got Article 15 for being drunk on duty. So I only did my initial enlistment and got out, but my career went E1, E2, E3, E2, E3, E4. Like, I got knocked back. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. So it affects us all
it's
different
not worth
times,
it.
and it is not worth it. Amen.
It's not. If you're out there struggling, you can do it. You can stop the addiction, and the sober life is the best way to go, in my opinion. And if you haven't tried out an NA beer, you should try it out.
There you go. Nice. Awesome.
My name is Stephanie Simon, and that's how I became this sober veteran.
If you support veterans choosing sobriety, show it. Like, follow, and subscribe to this Sober Vet podcast. Your support keeps these stories alive.